Hey, welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Megan and I'm an author and a freelance writer. In this video, I explored whether or not AI will replace authors. The short version is no, I don't believe that, but if you want all my thoughts, I will leave the link to that video in the description below. But whether we like it or not, this technology is probably only going to become more prevalent, and in many lines of work, professionals are needing to learn to embrace AI or get left behind. What does that mean for authors? Should we learn to embrace it? Should we use AI at all to write books? In this video, I'm looking at this specifically from the angle of ethics. Is writing a book with AI ethical? Keep in mind that these are my personal opinions. In a few instances, we'll get into the legalities of using AI to write books, but I'm not a lawyer. When I was first planning out this video, I asked myself, what's the bare minimum? If someone uses AI to write a book, what's the bare minimum they should do or keep in mind? In my opinion, the absolute bare minimum is that they should very prominently disclose it, as in it should be on the cover that it was produced by AI. Personally, I don't think that it's ethical not to disclose it, nor do I think it's ethical to put your name on it as the author. You didn't create it. If you used AI but then made changes, maybe you'd put something like written by AI, edited by you, or something like that. All of this is so new that I don't even know what that would look like. But I would feel weird taking credit for something I didn't write. And remember, if the book is poorly written, by having your name on it, you're taking credit for that as well. So it's a gamble. I'm going to come back to this toward the end, so stick around. So that's the first part of it. You didn't write it, so how could you claim that you did? The second part, and this one there's more of a gray area, but depending on the specific AI model and tool that you use, it might be trained on other content it finds online, and it might be using that content to come up with the book that you are having it write. Now, the reason there's a gray area here is that very quickly AI has gotten better about this, where it's not as obviously ripping off other people. And that's great. That's exciting even. But what you need to consider is that you are not writing a blog. You're talking about a book, which might be 80,000 words or more. If there's a chance that some of the words were stolen from another creator, tell me how that's ethical. You might be saying, well, I didn't write it, AI did. No. If you are taking credit for it, and especially if you are profiting from it, you have to take the good and the bad. That means that if there's plagiarism or if there's inaccurate information, that's on you, not AI. The last thing I want to point out, depending on what route you want to take when it comes to publishing, there could be legal ramifications for using AI. Specifically, if you want to query literary agents, they do not want AI-written content. It's too much of a risk. If you query them with an AI-generated book anyway, you are in the wrong. And if by some miracle an agent picked it up only to find out later that you used AI, best case scenario, you're getting dropped. Worst case scenario, there probably could be legal ramifications. All right, so is it ethical to use AI to write a book? I think if you went this route for whatever reason, you need to disclose it, like I said, and I'm not talking about hiding it in size 5 font somewhere in the book. I mean, front and center, telling your readers, AI wrote this. Honestly though, the whole idea just makes me feel icky. Now, I know I said I was going to focus on the ethical side, but I do want to quickly touch on what I think the bigger question here is, why would you want to use AI to write a book in the first place? If it's to make quick money, to create and publish and sell this book, selling a great book is hard to do. Selling a book written by AI that may or may not be good is going to be even harder. There are far easier ways to make money. Second thing I want to point out, I touched on this earlier, you need to be prepared to vouch for whatever AI wrote for you. You need to ensure it's accurate and then it's not plagiarized. I think this is the case even if you say AI wrote this. You still published it. You're still promoting it and possibly profiting off of it. It's all on you. Are you going to take personal responsibility for fact-checking an entire book? I wouldn't. I don't want that pressure on me. And third, if you want to be an author, write the book. Write it. If you're using AI to do the work for you, you're not an author, and it doesn't sound like you want to be one. So what's the point? To put your name on a book? That's just your ego talking. I'm certainly not trying to villainize AI. I think there's a time and a place. One thing I tried as sort of a test, I think I was using ChatGPT. I put in a few chapters of my draft, knowing that it has a plot hole, or had a plot hole at the time, and I asked GPT, are there any plot holes? And it found it, which I thought was pretty cool. At most, when it comes to writing a book, AI is a complement. It's not a supplement, it's not a replacement. Thankfully, I think some of the hype surrounding AI has died down, and we're focusing more on how to use this technology to have a real impact. And as people realize more and more that there are just some things you can't cheat on, like writing a book, the people and companies that do continue using AI are going to find amazing uses for it. In this video, I explored an interesting question posed by a subscriber of mine. Are you wasting your time being an author? And the conclusion I came to is that if you're writing a book because you love it and it brings you joy, then you're never wasting your time. And I'm coming back to that because I've come to a similar conclusion here. We can debate the ethics of using AI to write a book, but at the end of the day, there's one requirement for writing a book. You love it, and you have a story that you have to tell. And if that's the case, you don't need AI to do it for you. I can't wait to see the trolls in the comments. Let her rip. But I said what I said. I don't use AI to write my books for me. I don't use AI to write my blogs for work, my YouTube scripts, nothing. Again, it's a compliment. Think of it this way, too. Do you think AI is a better writer than you? If you say yes, I have questions. Like, what? But I will argue that you, the human, are a far better writer. So get back to work. I'm very curious to see where AI is going to go, and I think it could be life-changing. In some ways it already has been for some people, but I just have a really, really hard time envisioning a future where artists, like writers, become obsolete. I find it very difficult to picture readers, in general, being okay with reading a book that was written by technology. It's kind of hard to almost explain it, but there's just something so hollow about it. And there have been surveys on this. I read a summary of one the other day, and people are reporting that they would rather watch movies, read books, where they get the human. I think that's part of art. That's part of creating content. Let me know what you think about AI, or just say hello, but drop me a comment. I would love to connect. And if you're still here, give this video a thumbs up. I don't ask for much on this channel, just your support and your engagement. All right, see you next time.